This is the lion's voice.
The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the life. Lion voice. Well, Haile Selassie the first of the Almighty, and this is the chance match Kwasi. And the mission, that's the restoration of the black family. Yeah. Who Jah bless me, say no one curse. Black woman, it's time to merge. Black redemption, we're on the verge. Well, I don't care what you heard. Haile Selassie first, him no second or third. Cause even when their lines are blurred, the eyes stand straight, no bend, no curve. And him give you the love you deserve. Him don't come fi dominate, him come fi serve. Showed us the way home, I live his words. But I can't do it alone, so black woman, let's merge. High tall, sip and herbs, we merge. Massage fi calm her nerves, we merge. Together all demon purge, we merge. Another family emerge, we merge. We spoke and no speech was slurred, we merge. We agreed that Babylon's absurd, we merge. We had pain, now we feel cured, we merge. Hail the king, now she conquered. Well, I don't care what you heard. Haile Selassie first, him no second or third. Cause even when their lines are blurred, the eyes stand straight, no bend, no curve. Greetings in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Glory and honor in the name of his chosen queen, Empress Waziri Menen. My name is Kwasi Bansu, aka the Chasmatch Kwasi, aka Ras Kwasi, aka the Reading Ras, aka the Pan-African Happy Man. I'm a creative industry attorney, I'm an artist, I'm an author, I'm an actionist, and right now I am the host of Lion Talk Live. Welcome to the Lion Voice Network, and welcome to Lion Talk Live, where we are bringing the frontline soldiers on the battlefield for Rastafari and the Pan-African family globally. We are bringing to the fore people with a track record, with a resume of work as we connect the global family in preparation for what is coming and what is already here. Yes, family, everyone is feeling it. Everybody who is spiritual, whose third eye is open, knows what is here, what is upon us, and what stands before us. We are collecting the global family together. Big up to the Lion Pride, and big up to the Lion Pride on Patreon. How do you become part of the Lion Pride? If you subscribe, you are part of the Lion Pride family. Join us over here. We are serious people on this side of the internet, and we are building a movement. Big up I Never Knew TV. I was on a panel yesterday on I Never Knew TV talking about Haiti and the recent internet outage on the African continent with Dr. Knife, Dr. Imadi. It was a very powerful session. Atarchi, Barlet, and the Dread. So go over to I Never Knew TV. As you know, they are partners here. Check out that interview. If this is your first time to the platform, welcome. We've had an influx of subscribers in the last day. And that tells us that the interview is doing what it's supposed to do. But it wasn't just the interview, because my next guest has also been spreading the sound about the channel in her native land. We are bringing to the fore, I believe this is our second guest from the beautiful island of Trinidad. And we had Ras Tafari, a legendary elder on the platform who gave us a little sip about Trinidad from the Black Power come straight up. We've had uh, Reverend Kwame. I almost forgot Reverend Kwame, who was also from Trinidad. But now this is our first royal queen, royal empress coming out of Trinidad. And we are going to hear her testimony. She's a semi-retired social worker. She's a community activist, former executive of the All Mansion Initiative in Trinidad, current executive in Empress Menen Rising. What is that? We're going to find out what that is shortly. Please, my Lion Pride family, put some love in the comments as we welcome our guests for this evening, Empress Sharon. Welcome, Empress Sharon. What a joy, all the way from Trinidad.
Blessed love, my Lord. Blessed love, all ones and ones around the universe and around the world. Give thanks, give thanks. Aliyah Selassie, King Ras Tafari.
Yes, I just want to let the people know, recorded, that I'm so honored. Empress Sharon doesn't typically do interviews. We are special over here, Lion Pride family. We're creating waves. The people who don't usually come up front, they're coming up front to speak on the Lion voice. The lionesses are letting their voices be heard. So let's jump right into it. Tell us about where you were born, what it was like growing up, and your journey into Rastafari.
Well, give thanks again for calling on the eye to come forward to give I testimony. And I journey on this path to Rastafari, which is our liberty. It is not an easy liberty, but it is such a victorious liberty once you are really rooted and grounded in the Most High. I give much thanks. Well, I was born here in Trinidad in Belmont, in Port of Spain, Belmont. I was here until I was 5, and then my mother migrated to the States, and she called for my sister and I to come forward to the States. So I spent most of my youth and a lot of my adulthood in Boston, Massachusetts. When I had my youth, in my later time of life, I came forward to Trinidad because they had a lot of different medical issues, and it was best for us to come forward to Trinidad. So we came forward. We first went to Grenada for a moment, and then we came forward to Trinidad in 2010. They went to school. We sighted up. We got grounded in Rastafari in Trinidad. I was back and forth in Trinidad when I was younger, and I was starting to sight up Rastafari. But when I went to Grenada, I fully got grounded through a brethren in Grenada, and he sent me forward to Once and Once in Trinidad, who set I forward in the Nyabingi house in Trinidad, and that's where I got my teachings and everything that I needed to know about Rastafari to go forward. So that's, yeah, and right now my youths are in the States again.
Yes,
so I'm
yes.
doing these works.
So let's put some timelines. How old were you when you moved to America into Boston? 5 years old. And what decade are we talking about? Because you look very young, so I just want to give some context.
Give thanks. That was 1970. I moved to Boston, and I was there for my formative years, and my mother sent us back and forth to Trinidad all the time. So I would, when there was summer holidays, go, just go.
So Boston has a reputation for being a very racist place. You know, what were some of those experiences that you experienced, as a teenager or a young person growing up in Boston?
I was, where I lived was on the borderline of South Boston. So we were exposed to a lot of the racism that was going on because there was a territory that we could not pass at that time, which was South Boston. And we were in Dorchester, which was, that was the borderline. So if you pass that borderline, anything could happen to you. I know a brethren that from Trinidad, and it was later on after all the laws were passed and everything that racism should not be, but it still was. A brethren from Trinidad, he was in the area in South Boston trying to catch a train, and they threw him off the track. So these are stories that are in my meditation, reasons why I needed to come forward home to Trinidad again, because it was too much. It was too much between the cold, not just the weather, but just the cold of the people. I need to come forward for some heat, and I got some fire, some real Nyabingi fire.
Yeah. So in Boston, were you eating up Black Power or Black consciousness, or what was your mind state? Were you going to so-called parties and feta and what we want to real?
Yes. Well, my father, he was semi-involved in our lives, but he grew us up in the culture, in at least the West Indian culture.
Okay.
He was one of the founding members of the Boston Carnival.
Okay.
And there was a particular club called Unity that's the club that started the Boston Carnival. And we lived in that club. My sister and I lived there. We knew the ins and outs, weekends there. So we grew up in the soca culture.
Okay.
We grew up
You
with
see,
soca. So I was a soca baby.
yes, and I want to touch on the richness of the culture, because Trinidad, have that rich culture, that rich, a lot of Yoruba influence in Trinidad as well. So I know that there's a rich culture. So you're a teenager now. You move forward to Trinidad. What was it like? Was that a culture shock? Even though you had gone to the culture club, you grew up around Carnival, but going down to the Rock, your roots, after being in Boston so long, what was that transition like?
I wasn't a teenager when I came forward to Trinidad.
Okay. Give me the right timeline. How old were you at that time?
I was 42.
Okay, big woman thing. Yes.
I
So
had my youths later on. My first was when I was 38, and my second I was 42. So soon after we forwarded to Trinidad, and it was a culture shock, definitely, because coming from America and the fast pace and everything is go 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 and everything is now, and coming to Trinidad and realizing, take your time, relax. It's not that important. Relax, it will get done. So it's a major culture shock. But my youth, they were young, so this is what they knew. They knew Trinidad culture. So now they're getting their culture shock in the States.
Nice.
They've only been gone since September.
Nice. And it's beautiful that you could give them the gift of being rooted in that culture.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
To go forward. So in terms of you said you spent some time in Grenada.
Yes,
so you had already started kind of trotting up Rastafari in your 30s, or when did that influence start to penetrate?
Well, a little history. I was always, as they say, the black sheep in the family. I was searching for something. I did not know what that was. I was grounded. I first came forward. My mother grew us up as Catholic, and I didn't find what I needed there. So I was still searching. I joined the AME church, which is a semi-black conscious church, but not necessarily, because it's still colonial. So, and I also was part of the only black choir in Harvard University, which is the Kaumba Singers. So I was always looking for something that was African roots, African based, knowing myself, knowing my culture, but I did not know what that was. And I kept reading and looking, and I tried Buddhist, I tried Muslim, and then I cite Farai. And I said, yes, this is what I need. This is the groundation. So I started, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Sorry,
I was in Boston at that time. I was searching and trying to cite up on my own. Then I used to come to Trinidad all the time, back and forth. I was working. I had no youths. I was on my own. I had my own apartment, so I could do whatever I want. So I would come home. I would come home whenever I wanted. And I was still searching, and I I met, where did I go? I believe I went to a 12 tribe dance,
Okay.
and I was staying in a Rima. And the brethren that I met at the 12 tribe dance was living in Arima, and we started grounding. He was working in Arima, and I'd pass him all the time. And he ended up being my children's father.
Okay. So him
And
give
that's
some
where
lyrics at the dance. Him give 2 lyrics. The Trini lyrics that fly.
yes, I. So yeah, yes, I. But
So
um,
he was a Rastafari brethren.
he was a 12 tribe brethren at the time.
Brethren.
So
Okay.
that's how I started cited up Farai is through 12 tribe. But
Okay.
we went our separate ways, well, at different times,
Yes.
because I came to Trinidad, got my first youth, came back to the States, had her, came back to Trinidad, got my second youth, and went back. All
Yes.
this time I've cited up Farai, and at that time he had transitioned between the two youths, he had transitioned to Orthodox. So I
Okay.
started forwarding to the Orthodox Church.
Okay.
When I came forward, finally, my youths are baptized in the Orthodox Church. I'm baptized in the Orthodox Church also.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I've always been grounded in Rastafari, whether I wanted to know it or not. But the Most High revealed it in a time.
So what caused the eye to transition from 12 tribe Orthodox, which is more centered around Yeshua, to Nyabingi, which is so militant on His Imperial Majesty, Kadamabi Haile Selassie I. Why did you transition from that side of the Levity, which it's in the house there are many mansions, and we're gonna
Correct.
get to that. But why
Yes.
did you go from that wing of the mansion and trod to the Nyabingi side of the mansion?
Exactly as the I said, the militancy and the groundation.
Okay.
Bingi is the heartbeat. The
The
heartbeat.
heartbeat. The heartbeat.
One, two,
The eye.
and to do good.
Do
Do
good.
good.
Yes.
That is my liberty. Do good.
Do
In
good. Yeah.
anything, give thanks and do good. That is my liberty. Anyone that knows the I knows it's give thanks and do good.
Highly.
Yes,
Yeah,
I.
man. Yeah, man. The order, 1, 2 order.
Yes, I.
And I think that's how I met the I was on Chuchan first, and then through Ark. But
Yes, I.
but I really give thanks for the I trod. So what is it about Haile Selassie that the I, because you came into the Liberty as an adult. So it's not your parents telling you about a child and you accepting by faith. There has to be some type of research. There's some type of, inquisition, because I know just by reason with the eye is not going to take up something that the eye cannot defend, with a fullness. So what was it about Haile Selassie that caused the eye to embrace the divinity?
To cite that Haile Selassie, this just a simple man as the natural eye would see it. That he's a simple man. That how he could change a whole nation practically overnight from being way back in another era to bring it forward to the 21st century. Not even the 20th, but the 21st century.
Aye.
In such a short space in time that this man could just fulfill so much prophecy. And once citing that this is the man who is not just a man. That is Haile Selassie the first, God and King, Rastafari.
Yes,
And that is what I cite. That is what I cite. And to cite that the emperor brought forth his empress at the same time, when has that ever been done? To bring forth an empress and say, this is my queen. The said way you respect you respect my queen. There's nothing greater than that. There's nothing greater than that.
Highly. So, in terms of books, what were some of the early books that you read? You mentioned, looking at certain literature, but what were some of the early books as you were trotting up that you could? I'm the reading Ras, so I'm gonna ask you about some books. We want to encourage the ones them to read.
Yes, I. the speeches of His Majesty,
Yes, crucial.
um, Reese, I believe it was Rastafari and Rebellion.
Okay.
It was the Cabernegas, the
Okay.
Holy Pippi. Those books are what
Yes.
I read. Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
what I entered this liberty.
Give thanks. Give thanks. And how did your family, coming from a soca background, how did they deal with the eye, at this grown age, accepting, going into Rastafari? Was there any resistance?
My queen, before she transitioned, would always say, "When you're cutting that thing out of your hair," I said, "Mommy, that will not happen. That will not happen until the day she transitioned." She
Wow.
just shake her head, but she knew I was, regardless of what it was about a pure liberty, a spiritual liberty, and I know she was happy with that.
Give
That I
thanks.
wasn't there doing the wrong thing and leading my youths astray or leading anyone else astray. So I give thanks for that. Said way, even though there was some resistance, she knew it wasn't anything that was going to be detrimental to her or her family.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Because, our parents are so important,
Truly.
especially in this time where family is so precious. A lot of the early Asians didn't have a chance to have any relationship with their parents. They were
Truly.
cast out, So those of I and I that can maintain those relationships, we always give thanks, even if they are critical, because we
Yes.
find out that over time they see when you're committed, they become some of your biggest supporters,
True. True.
in your times of need. So we really give thanks. So set the stage for us now. You're in your 40s, two young children, new country, but it's a old country because it's your home that you've gone to. The kingman is there now. I'm assuming living together for the first time. All of these, it wasn't like that.
Not at all,
Set,
Bridget.
set, set the stage. Set the stage. Give us the picture.
Yes, well, by the time I had my second youth in the States, the Kingman had moved on.
Oh wow.
So by the time I came forward, I was on my own. I stayed with some family for a while until
Okay.
I transitioned into working and the youths going to school. We were in the north for a while and then we came forward to the south of Trinidad, and that's where we were based for the most of the time that they were here. And we were on our own. I have one brother that lives in the north and a cousin that lives in the north, and I was the only one in the south. So we
Wow.
were here on our own. We did have some support from family away, but it was Ayuts and myself and our Nyabingi family. So yes, that was a great support. It was a great, great support.
Give thanks
Being
to
part of
hear
the
that.
All Mountains, being part of the Nyabingi house, that was what raised myself and Ayut. So
So what was you said who introduced you to the Nyabingi house?
there was a brethren in Grenada, Ras
Yes.
Tafari, that gave me the number for Bongo Grease and Bongo Jack. So when I
Okay.
landed in Trinidad,
We got Bongo Grease and Bongo Jack. I'm gonna make
yes,
sure both of them come on this platform. Don't worry yourself, family. We're bringing the family forward, but continue.
so those are the brethren that cultured I in
Yes,
every aspect of the Nyabingi and
yes.
the liberty of Rastafari.
Give thanks, give thanks. And those are some brilliant elders,
Yes,
and
learn
all.
from the best.
Yeah, yes, yes. And then, so in terms of your professional, let's go to the professional side. Were you doing social work in the US, and then how did that translate when you came? How did you find employment? How were you able to sustain yourself professionally?
Well, I my first work in the States was insurance. I did that for 15 years.
Okay.
And then I transitioned after some ups and downs
Yes.
as life is. I
Yes.
transitioned into doing social work, working with women and children. in
Okay.
cruise centers. So
Yeah.
that's what I did in the States for a while before I came forward to Trinidad. I did work in a, a boys' home here in Trinidad for a while, and that was the extent of my social work in Trinidad, because there's so many obstacles and hoops that you have to go through once you transition, and they think you're overqualified, and there's so
Okay.
much. So
Wow.
yeah, so
So
I
how
was
were you
doing
able to sustain economically in Trinidad?
it was tough. It was tough, and I had to take on other work to sustain myself and my family, but that did not
Okay.
have to do with social work. But I was still doing works for Rastafari that would sustain I.
Okay, so you were able to work within the cultural economy and sustain it thyself.
Partially, yes, yes.
Okay, partially. Okay. Because it's important, because there's a reality to the trad that we have to also share with our young family that are coming up. Yes, you may be cultural. Yes, you may love Rastafari, but the bills still have to be
Need to be
paid.
paid.
You know what I mean? There's still a rent, there's still a mortgage, light bill. You have two young children who are looking at mommy, you know what I mean? And you were not going to fail them. So you still had to be resourceful and find, that
Truly.
stability.
Yes.
Um, so
Give thanks for the
what,
help of family.
go ahead.
Give thanks for the help of a lot of families. So I
Give
give
thanks.
much thanks.
Give thanks. What were some of the lessons that you think, or how did that help to build your character going through those trying times, with your youths?
To know that regardless of what, prayer, fasting, the Most High, having to rely on Him, and He will always be your source. Ah, that's, brethren, is something
Priceless.
that you have to experience, and you have to know it's real. It's not something in the air. It's tangible. It is tangible to see when you are on your last and you don't know where your next meal is coming from, and someone knocks on your door and say, "Here, take this." That that could not be nothing more than mystical. The
Highly
most sustained, and I'm
tested,
so grateful.
battlefield tested. That's what we
Oh,
call that. That's what we call
yes,
that. Battlefield
yes, sir.
tested. When you're it's not book faith, you've
Not
been
at all.
out on the battlefield and you've seen the majesty work for the eye,
Yes,
and
sir.
that
Truly.
the ones who are doing the works, I find, are all battlefield tested. The
Yes, sir.
ones who are not, these are the ones that leave the liberty, that are grumbling, that are causing trouble because they're not tested. They
Mm,
doubt the power. So then they've lost their focus on the mission. Uh,
truly.
I love to hear that. So let us now shift to what were some of the early conversations that you were having with Bongo Grease, Bongo Jack, these great elders, of the, these are pillars in the Trinidad Rastafari community. What were some of those early interactions or reasonings like for the eye?
For I, it was mainly, there were many, many, many reasonings, but my main source was going to the tabernacle for a bingi,
Okay.
going to cite how Rastafari groundation is set in the tabernacle, how
Yes.
the empresses present themselves, how the kings present themselves, the word songs that came out, standing around the fire, the seven priests at the altar. Those things are what are dear to I. Citing that and having my youth cite that, and knowing that there's a power in that. Just
Wow.
standing around, just giving ISIS at the fire. That was a great strength for I.
So at that time, there was a lot of ones in the Trinidad Nyabingi house, I'm assuming. If there were seven priests assembled, and,
Yes, sir.
how large are we talking about the congregation in those times?
It's not a very large congregation, but there are enough ones and ones to make
Yes.
sure the tabernacle is running the way it's supposed to. And a few ones have fallen away, as with any house, but
Yes.
there's still the core ones that are there, sustaining and maintaining the tabernacle to make sure there's still a fire blazing.
Give thanks. Give thanks. So, talk to us about the organizational side. You talk about the spiritual side leading to the Nyabingi, because I want this episode for us to focus on Trinidad Rastafari community. I don't know how much of the history of the community that you're aware of. If one's talk about His Majesty visit to Trinidad, like how we reason about His Majesty visit to Jamaica. I'm a novice, so just enlighten I about the Rastafari vibration in Trinidad.
There are many houses in Trinidad which ones and ones don't know about, but because I have availed myself in all the communities, there are only 2 houses that I haven't visited yet, but I intend to visit. As I said, 12 tribe, Orthodox, Nyabingi. My ex Kingman was a Bobo, so I have knowledge of a lot. There's the All Mansions of Rastafari, which is an umbrella body, and right now there are 4 houses that are under the All Mansions of Rastafari, which would be the 12 tribe, Nyabingi, African Unity, and the Abobo Shanti representative. I have a list here of all houses.
Yes, read the list. Feel free to look at your notes.
Give thanks.
Yes. This is education. This is edutainment, family. And if you have questions, put your questions in the chat. This is a family gathering, so don't feel shy. We're getting deep into Rastafari and Trinidad this evening. Go ahead.
Yeah. As I said, the Nyabingi, their base is in Saparia, which is in South Trinidad.
Okay.
There are 3 Bobo Shanti houses that I know of. There may be more, I'm not sure. These are only the houses that I am aware of. The Bobo Shanti in Wharf Trace, which is in North Trinidad. Tunapuna Bobo Shanti House, which is also in North Trinidad. And there's a Point Fortin Bobo Shanti, which is in the south of Trinidad. There's the House of Judah, which is another Bobo Shanti camp, which is in Belmont. The 12 tribes of the 12 tribe of Israel, which is in West Trinidad. African Unity, the Order of Melchizedek, which is in South Trinidad. Melchizedek School, another house in Point Fortin, which is in South Trinidad. The Church of Haile Selassie, which is in South Trinidad. And the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which is in Aruca, which is in the east of Trinidad. So these are all ones that I have been associated with, have visited, except for the Bobo Shanti house in Tunapuna and in Point Fortin. Those are the only 2 that I have not visited yet, but I will make my way there and make sure that once I will gather information to make sure that each house knows when something is going on, and when someone is doing something, so all of I and I can support, because that's what all of I and I need, is support from one another. It doesn't matter. It's all under Rastafari. It doesn't matter the house. It doesn't matter the colors. It's Rastafari. Where there's Rastafari, I will be there. It does not matter for I. Once separation, I want unity.
Give thanks Give thanks for that work. So talk to us. That's a perfect transition to how was the All Mansion established in Trinidad? Because I say it's been active before we came online. I was surprised to know that it was active over a decade. Talk to us about the history of the All Mansion coming together in Trinidad.
When I came forward to Trinidad at reasoning with Bongo Grease and Bongo Jack, and it was the overseer for the 12 tribes of Israel, Trini Levi, had a meeting and we all came together and decided that they were going to start up again a new chapter of the All Mansions of Rastafari. From my knowledge, there was another entity before, and that had somehow fallen away, and they wanted to start a new organization under the All Mansions of Rastafari. And that's when I came forward in either 2010, 2011, somewhere within that time period. And I have been active within that organization until last year. I was part
Okay.
of the All Mansions of Rastafari.
And what are some of the aims and objectives of the All Mansion?
To bring all mansions together under one entity to move forward, because we're all hailing the king. We all have the same aims and objectives to make sure repatriation and reparations come forward for all of I people.
So repatriation, is that an aim of Rastafari in Trinidad, or is Trinidad, where everybody wants to be? What is the sound on repatriation?
Especially for the 12 tribes of Israel, they've been sending people to Africa on a regular basis. Right now, I believe there's a group within the 12 tribes of Israel that's trying to send, I believe it's 21 people to Africa to go on the land right now. And besides that group, the 12 tribes organization is trying to send another set of people to the land permanently. So there's a lot of work that's being done. At one point in time, there was a reparations group within Trinidad, but that disbanded when the government changed. So we're still waiting to hear on that.
Okay, but
So there's a lot of work that's going on.
the everyday Rastafari brethren in the street, do they talk about repatriation, or is that because I'll be honest, in Jamaica, repatriation with a lot of people is not high priority, because I know the islands are paradise and some people get comfortable in the island. So do you feel that vibration for repatriation in Trinidad right now amongst the ones and
No,
ones?
not at the moment. Not at the moment. Everyone, unfortunately, once have become complacent.
Yes.
So their liberty is just, I need to make $1 to survive. It's not about future or planning for repatriation or helping Mother Africa. We need to strengthen ourselves so we could strengthen the continent.
Wow.
I don't fight that at the moment, but it needs to come forward again.
Give thanks for that honesty, my sister, because it's a reality that I always say that Pharaoh put a hard yoke on the people,
Really.
so the people are trying to survive. We hear that Trinidad is the economic giant of the Caribbean. When you look from Port-au-Prince, the place look bossy. You know what I mean? The skyline and thing. What is it like? Have you seen that modernization and kind of gentrification with all of the oil money and the different money that's in Trinidad? Is it very apparent?
For the 1%, yes. For the
Okay.
common man, no. There is a great disparity between the rich and the poor. You're either highly, highly rich or poor. There's, the
No middle
contrast is
class.
not anymore. Not anymore. It's really sad. It's
Wow.
really, really sad.
So because we're also hearing about, rising crime and violence, is that something that people are concerned about in Trinidad, or, the everyday person?
They're very, very concerned in right now, because it used to be you would hear a murder once a week or once every 2 weeks. Now it's 2, 3, 4, 5 a day. It
Wow.
has escalated ridiculously. Ones and ones are terrified to be outside at night. It's completely changed from what I knew as a child, from when I was here, when I was young. It's
Yes.
completely changed.
Wow. So how do the ones them treat Rastafari? Are Rastafari safe? Like in Jamaica, I know the Rast them can move around in the ghetto without too many problems. How the ones, the bad man them, for lack of a better word, how do they treat Rastafari in Trinidad?
In Port of Spain, the capital city, at one point in time, it was very, very prevalent where there were two warring fractions. It was Rasta City and Muslim City, which had
Oh,
nothing to do with Muslim, nothing to do with Rasta. It's just names that they took up and ran with. And that's what the
okay.
police were targeting was Rasta and Muslim. But they knew nothing about Rastafari. They just know that the king was someone who came to with that part of the city, which is the Beatum, where he bought the land for the Ethiopian Orthodox. He bought that land and the church is there now. The Orthodox church is there now. And
Okay.
that part was Rasta City. And up on the hill is Muslim City. And that's where part of that came from. Part of that doctrine, or I don't know even know what to call it, came from. But as far as Rasta right now, we still move through the city as normal. As long as you disrespect no one, you keep your liberty, keep humble, you can move through freely. But there's still going to be crime because the youths have nothing to do. They have nothing to do. There are no economic incentives for them at the moment. So they're looking to make a quick dollar, whichever way they can.
Wow, it's very unfortunate, but it's a story that's so common, unfortunately,
Yes,
in our
sir.
developing nations. Lack of leadership, lack of
Truly,
vision
truly.
for the developing countries. Give us some of the. Oh, sorry, I said Port-au-Prince earlier. I was on a show with about Haiti yesterday. It's Port of Spain.
Sort of thing,
Uh,
yes.
the lion pride makes sure so you think sharp. You can come on this platform and just tell people. So give thanks, Miss Sister Farelli, S Farelli. But so in terms of give us some of the history of some of the works that were achieved by the All Mansion, from its inception. Some of the projects, some of the things that were worked on, some of the achievements, some of the challenges.
The main challenges for all mansions of Rastafari is to get all the mansions to come forward. That was a major, major, major. I listed all of these different mansions, different houses, and there are only four that are under the umbrella. So
Okay.
it's a major challenge because ones and ones are set in their doctrines and to come together under one umbrella, it is a challenge, but it can be done. It can be done because we have more in common than we do different. So it
Yeah.
can be done. It's just a matter of, as the I said, you you have to chip away at certain things, and it's endurance. You have to keep working and working and working on it, but it can be done. Um, all Mansions of Rastafari was heavily involved in the um, cannabis decriminalization. So the All Mansions was part of all of the consultations that were done in Trinidad and trying to put forward that particular part of legislation where Rastafari would have some form of say as to how the bill should be written to accommodate Rastafari liberty as far as the herb is concerned. Um, we've had three rallies. There was a rally before, a rally in North, a rally in South, and a rally after they passed the decriminalization bill. So all Mansions of Rastafari did a lot of work to make sure that the decriminalization did come forward in Trinidad. Haley,
Greetings.
yes, I lost you there for a moment.
Yes, yes, yes. We give thanks, give thanks, give
Yes,
thanks.
yes.
All right. So please continue.
Where did the I did
We were talking about the works, and you were talking about the legislation as it relates to cannabis.
Yes, the
Yes.
work that the All Mansions did was in regards to getting the decriminalization bill passed within Trinidad, going to all the consultations, going to meetings, meeting with officials, and making sure that that bill passed with Rastafari initiatives and Rastafari liberty within its core of the bill to make sure we have Sacramento and certain rights within that bill. So All Mansions of Rastafari did a lot of work in that area.
Give
We've
thanks.
had rallies, we've had family days, we've had fundraisers. Many works have been done over the years.
Give thanks. Give thanks. And what is the reception? You said it was hard to get ones to sign on, but in terms of the events, have you been able to get ones to come and support the events and the initiatives?
Yes, ones and ones would come out to the events once they knew about it. As with anything, communication is key. And there's a lot of lack of communication within the Rastafari family. This is why the platform like the Eye is much
Yeah.
needed to get the word out that the Rastafari is doing works and lots of mighty works and good works, not
Yeah.
just for Rastafari, but for the community in general.
Yes. Sophia Codrington said that there were public education classes. Is that correct?
I don't I call at the moment. If they were, I, I I was not in attendance in those classes.
Okay. Do you know Miss Codrington?
Not by that name.
Okay. 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 Give thanks. Give thanks. But yes, I think it's very important to share the works, and that's why I'm so honored to have the Eye on this platform. Sharing the Eye story, because the lionesses have to reason. In terms of Trinidad, what do you think um, the main contribution the Rastafari community are united? If the houses come together, what type of impact do you think that would have on the wider Trinidad?
Once the Rastafari family comes together and does the work that the king and the queen have set forth for I and I to do, it will not just be for Trinidad. It will be a worldwide movement, a worldwide liberty of togetherness and love and unity. That's what I cite. That's what
Mm.
I cite. Because His Majesty did not just come to change Ethiopia. He did not just come to change the African diaspora. He came to change the world. That was his mission. That's what the League of Nations, all of those things that he was involved in. He did not just stay within the African diaspora and say, this is just for my people. This was to change the entire world, to make sure that we work as one, as people, as humans, seeing human to human, knowing that the eyes are flesh and blood. We are people at the end of the day. We all are born. We all have a life to live, and we all transition. So within that time period before we transition, it's what we do with that is what is important. And that's what His Majesty spoke on, what
Yeah.
we do with our liberty.
Give thanks. So you think it's wider than just Trinidad. It's coming together of Rastafari in Trinidad will be
Globally,
part of the global coming
correct.
together.
Yes, sir.
I love that. I love that because it's happening, and this is part of it. These conversations. I know that when we look forward on the history, we will see that these conversations, help to capture this work as it was happening. And I come from the generation where we didn't like to record any of our works. We were just there, you burn camera, this, that. And now as we get older, we wish that we had had cameras and we had recorded some of those events and different
Yes,
works that we had put in, because many of our elders and things are no longer with I and I
truly, truly.
that were there, so even to capture, ones like Mama Bubbles and different things chanting, some heavenly eyes and these things we didn't get an opportunity. So now we're in the independent media space, so that we can have a record of our story from our own narrative. So I just want to big up the eye for the work that the eye is doing in Trinidad, and having someone that I can reason and get some more overstanding, because Trinidad, I grew up in Toronto, and Trinidad always had a place because we had Caravana,
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, so that Trinidadian, I have brethren who are Trinidadian, from my youth. So Trinidad has always had a great place in I and I heart. So in terms of the Trinidad Carnival, how does the Rastafari community interact with that major global festival? I know a lot of ones burn bacchanal and things. Is it something that the Rastafari community just stay away from completely? Or do you, hide and see some Rastafari paint up and a wine up? How does the carnival operate in Trinidad,
But
Rastafari?
because I'm not part of that particular festival or that culture, but as I was born in Belmont, where it's a major part of where steel pan started. So I grew up around the steel pan, and I still love it. I still love it to this day, and I will still not participate, but I will go and listen to the
Yes.
steel pan when they have that part of the festival. And I see a lot of Rasta that are that partake in that particular part. I don't know about the winding up and the other days because I'm not out there. I have no idea. And I don't believe they would be wearing a banner or something Rastafari on that day. So I don't know. But I know the 12 tribe of Israel has had a dance, a 7 nights dance, a reggae dance for the past 40 something years during that carnival season. And Rastas come out in their numbers for that dance
Okay.
every single year.
That's kind
So
of
that's
like
the
that's
only time I see Rasta coming forward.
yeah, no, that reminds me of the Jamaican community in Toronto, because during Caravana there's always the reggae truck. You always have they playing the reggae music in the midst of the soca. So that remind me of that. They keep their own vibe,
Yes, sir.
funky vibe. Um, we have Jazzy from Afrobana. Big up Toronto, massive. Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, I grew up in a place called Scarborough, um, which is, I think, now part of the greater Toronto. Okay, Jazzy, you've been here for a while. Said Trinidad and Tobago said we heal up Honorable Empress Sharon and the
Yes, ma'am.
all sisters of Empress Menen rising.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so it's someone that I know, I would say.
Not by that name, but give thanks anyway.
All right. So talk to us about the Rastafari woman now. This is Women's History Month. We've been featuring women all month on this channel. If you haven't seen some of the other interviews, family, go forward and watch some of the other interviews. We just dropped our interview with um, Sister Walata Georgis from the UK, from the National Nyabingi Council in the UK. We have Dr. Chinzira from St. Croix interview. We have many more sister interviews that we're going to be dropping. We did the Blue Fire I Treat episode. And we have now the Royal Empress Sharon here. Tell us about, Rastafari woman in Trinidad and what that experience has been like?
The Rastafari women that I met in Trinidad were mainly in the houses. And the empresses, well, the sisters that I ground with are in the Nyabingi house. Very few of us, but mighty still. Very, very mighty. And until recently, now that the works are being done with the sisters, with the empresses, it would just be for an ISIS. It would just be if there was a gathering, once and once would meet up, and that would be it. We would go our separate ways and have our own liberty. Everyone living how they're surviving, how they're living, however their daily trot is, no one knows. But now that sisters are coming together and grounding together, it's changing how ones and ones are citing each other. And it's a glory. It's truly a glory to see the change that sisters are. They have a voice and they need to use that voice. They've been in the background for far too long. The king did never put the queen behind. She was always at his side, always at his side. So the queens need to step forward and take their rightful place.
Give thanks, give thanks. Jazzy Afrobana said, Honorable Empress Mawana Juma here.
Empress Juma, Empress
Oh,
Juma.
that's Empress Juma. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. Empress Juma, Royal. I told Empress Sharon I'm looking forward to have the eye on this platform. So I hope the eye get ready.
Truly.
Because we want to hear the eye story as well. We hear about the eye mighty works. And we want to highlight the sister in them voices. So talk to us about Empress Menen Rising. What is it? And what are the aims and objectives?
Well, Empress Menen Rising. How Empress Menen Rising started was 3 years ago. I was working with the All Nations at that time on the women's arm of All Nations of Ras Tafari, and we were trying to bring the women's arm forward a little bit because it was only the I at the time, and we were trying to bring that forward. And a sister from the Nyabingi house hailed I and said to I, well, is there anything going on with Empress Menen for her Earthstrong? No, I don't know of anything. I have never heard of anything going on for Empress Menen's Earthstrong. She said, well, do you think you could call a few sisters and see if we could do something? Sure, no problem. It's Empress Menen. Something needs to be done. Yes, So we started just a regular WhatsApp phone group and calling sisters that I knew because as I said, I go to all these houses. I participate in things that are going on in all the different houses. So I know a lot of ones and ones individually. So I called sisters together, and 10 days before Empress Menen's Earthstrong in 2022, we organized the first Empress Menen Earthstrong ISIS. No name, just sisters coming together. After that event, which was well attended, surprisingly, because we had 10 days to do everything. Tents, food, everything, getting the word out, 10 days, and Most High cut and clear and made sure that everything went through ILFO. So I give much thanks for that. After, we just kept the vibes going, and once we'd call each other and say, what's the next, what are we doing next? What are we doing next? So one day a sister put up on the chat, I don't remember the exact thing, but she said something about Empress Menen Rising. And a next sister said, that's a good name for the for the organization or for the group to come together. And that's how Empress Menen Rising was formed in 2022.
Okay, so is this just sistering in Trinidad or it's all over?
For right now, it's sisters in Trinidad. We do have platforms where ones and ones do come on Instagram and on Facebook. Ones and ones know of Empress Menen Rising through those platforms and the works that are going on in Trinidad.
Give
But for
thanks.
right now, it's only Empresses in Trinidad. We do have one sister in Guyana, but she's a Nyabingi sister from Trinidad living in Guyana. So when she comes forward, she does
Okay.
equal the words. So yeah, so Empress Men Rising, we're working on our third ISIS, which will be happening on the 31st of March on the
Okay.
Nyabingi grounds. So it's a blessing. The Nyabingi grounds have just erected a new tabby, brand
Okay.
new tabby. It is colorful. It just the glory of the Most High is just shining in that tabby.
Please,
So I just
please,
want to
please send me some pictures so I can put it on the Lion Voice. I can
definitely,
feature it,
definitely,
yes. Or some video. Even better if you can send some video, so
definitely.
that I can feature it on the Lion Voice for the family to see. We want to show these infrastructure developments, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Um,
yes,
go ahead.
go forward. Go forward, beloved.
Okay, no, okay. So, Empress Menen, we talked about the emperor earlier. Why is Empress Menen so important to the eye? What lessons? What's your relationship with her tribe?
As I said earlier, the emperor did not leave his empress behind, and she was the word song in his ear, continually guiding, leading at sometimes the emperor in the works that he did. And she did her own works, building schools and orphanages. The empress gave up her crown to make sure that her country was blessed and favored by the Most High. Anyone who cannot follow that empress, I don't know. I don't know. That is a source of inspiration to anyone to be humble and to do works and to give ISIS. I
Faithfulness.
don't have enough words on
Yes.
what Her Majesty did and the liberty that she had. And she gave up so much. She sacrificed so much.
She went against her own family for His
Yes,
Majesty, because
yes, sir.
remember that when Ras Mikael, which was her grandfather, invaded Addis Ababa, she stood with her kingman
Truly.
against her uncle Lijayasu and against her grandfather. That was her family, literally.
Yes, sir.
Because all of those soldiers and warriors were from Wollo, and
Mm.
that was her home province, and the Empress stood with His Majesty. I'm writing the life story, so I visualize things as a cinematic event,
Yes,
because
sir.
you can imagine, this princess, how you feel when your family is invading. You have to
And
stand with your
you have to
kingman,
make that choice. Yes, you have to make that choice. And she stood with her king.
Wow,
Yes, sir.
mighty, so mighty.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Truly.
so in terms of what if money is not an option or challenge, what type of works would Empress Menen Rising would like to execute?
Woo!
If you had,
I
if
can
you, if I could give you $1 billion right now in your account, look in your cash app, look in your thing, you have $1 billion. What is the vision for Empress Men and Rising?
for it would be land here and land in Africa and just start building infrastructure, farming, schools, factories, cars, everything, 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 everything. That would, for ones who want to stay, let them stay. For ones who want to go forward, but there will be something for everyone, everyone. And just to give to make sure that this lower class and upper class, no more, no more. Equity, that is what I want to see. Not equality,
Yes,
equity. There's a
yes,
big difference.
yes. So, in terms of the sistren in Trinidad, are you seeing young sistren trotting up in the movement, or is there an aging demographic issue like we're seeing in a lot of the houses and mansions? Are you seeing a lot of young sistren, teenagers, young 20s treading up into the levity?
Mm, not young 20s. A few, very few, but most are 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Yes, so on the older side, but we want to see more sisterins come in because of the work that I and I are doing and seeing the liberty and seeing that there is an unity between the sisterins to have these works done and to get edification from the elders to know that you don't have to go out there and necessarily show your body or sleep with this one or do things that you know are not right in the sight of the Most High just to make a dollar, just to survive. That yes, the liberty is hard, but the victory is so sweet. So,
So,
so.
so how do I see, because a lot of the modern sisters them that cite of Rastafari, they're not so strict on the long dresses or the head wraps. Locks are out. Might see them in a tight pants from time to time. How does the eye as a elder sister look at that? Would you encourage the young sister to return to that traditional, or are you kind of whatever make you comfortable? How the eyesight that part there?
I personally, it's a process because when I sighted up, I was still in my pants. My locks were out and flying. It's a process, but
Yes.
the Most High will guide you into leaving on certain things because it's not necessary. Because you're not pleasing man, you're pleasing the Most High. And if this is what the Most High says you need to do to live what you cite as Rastafari liberty, and what Rastafari says is the way it should be, or what the Most High puts in your heart as to what it should be, then that all of that will fall away. It'll eventually fall away because you know it's the right thing to do and it doesn't feel comfortable anymore.
Yes,
It
yes.
will not feel comfortable anymore.
I think that's so key, because it's an internal
Yes, sir,
vibration. You're not doing it to please others.
truly.
And I think one of the things that I want to do with this platform is to highlight, some modern fashion, because I think people think that if you're dressing modestly, it has to, it can look modern. You can still be stylish.
Truly.
And I want to big up sister like Empress Sativa. You have some young sister, I see them with their long skirts and head wrap, but them still stylish. How them they deal with their flair. So we want to let the sister in them know that you don't have to look old and with your you can style it and still hold that tradition, and that's
Yes, sir.
the job of the youth. Are you seeing a lot of Rastafari families, man, woman, and child, or is it a lot of single parent homes in Trinidad? What is the condition of the Rastafari family in Trinidad?
I'm seeing a little bit of both. I see man, woman, and child. I see a lot of brethren by themselves that are elderly that need a strength. I see
Wow.
a lot of sisterins that are elderly that need strength. So, but there are a few in between that are man, woman, and child, which is always, always, always. It gives I joy to cite that, to see a Rastafari family together. That
Yes.
is always a joy.
And I think this channel, that's one of our missions, is to strengthen the Rastafari family, the Pan-African family. And a lot of our programming is geared toward setting that standard for the Rastafari man in particular, because I think the man them have to take responsibility to ensure that the family is protected and provided for. And
Yes,
so that requires discipline, because a lot of brethren are dealing with multiple sisters and don't have the means or the conversations that are required. And we see the chaos,
yes,
that ensues through that. And a lot of that is, just Caribbean culture that has seeped into
woo,
Rastafari. You know what I mean?
yes,
Uh,
sir.
So, and I think we really have to make these distinctions because Haile Selassie and Empress Menen are our example.
Truly.
So if we say that's our example, then we have to live that structure. And we were talking earlier about not retaining the second generation. The youths, a lot of our youths are leaving the liberty when they get to adult age or when they can decide for themselves. And part of that is because, the structure is not there. We don't have the jobs to employ them. They're seeing a lot of confusion growing up as youths in the liberty as well. And they're trying to get away from what they perceive as, it's not the Rastafari they're getting away from, but it's that confusion that is being caused by the lack of discipline. So as a brethren, we take some responsibility, but I just want to encourage the older sister to really counsel the younger sister
Yes,
coming up in terms of the importance of selecting the right king man, when the king man them come. So the things that the item endure, because a lot of time we just keep it to ourselves.
truly.
You know what I mean? And then a next session go through the same trod that you had to go through because nobody shared with them. When the brethren come and give you the lyrics at the dance, give him, some vetting. Even though we give thanks that the youth
Ooh,
we give thanks for the youth them every time, But in terms of building those stable families, we have to have a process. I think we need arranged marriage in the living,
mm.
where families can.
A lot of counseling. A lot of counseling.
Yes, yes. You know what I mean? Because
Yes,
we have to be strategic in terms of how we put this thing together. You know what I mean? I have a daughter, I have a son, two teenagers, and I wouldn't like to let them go out there in the wilderness. I would have loved to know that I could keep them within the liberty,
yes, sir.
but there's nothing there that allows for that currently. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to throw them to the wolves because they're young people and they're going to look for other young people who probably don't have nothing to do with what we are dealing with.
Right.
So, these are the things that I encourage, because the item are organized as sistren. These are some of the things, not just the traditional works that we do, the ISIS and things, but some social programs that we can create for younger sistren, some counseling, some different things that help us to deal with relationships
Yes,
because
sir.
nobody's talking, there's no mechanism in the liberty if a brethren and a sister get in an argument for them to go and have that, the pressure take down and counsel and did you try this? Did you try that? You know what I mean? And have that support. And I think it's easier to go to a group of sistren for a lot of ones than maybe brethren, So that might be something that the item can think about,
Yes, much down to.
in terms of implementing some social safety nets for I and I next generation. Um, so in terms of the future, where are we headed in Trinidad? What is the trajectory? You're talking about the sacramental cannabis. You're talking about the Almanch and Empress Menen is rising in the country. Where is all of this leading?
Hopefully, this is leading to all of I and I coming together as one with all the different houses that we have here in Trinidad. For yes, we have our different ideologies and the way we do things, but the end goal will be the same: is to hopefully ones who want to repatriate, address the government for reparations, buy land, sustain Rastafari as a community, have agriculture, have schools, have facilities where ones can work and give back and keep things circulating within the Rastafari community and building, keep rising, as Empress Menen is rising. Have the
Yes,
whole Rastafari community rising.
rising. You touched on agriculture. What are there Rastafari farmers in Trinidad? Do we have ones who are farming the land actively?
There are individual Rastafari camps that are farming individually, but we need a collective. We need a collective because each one will have a piece of land. Someone will have a piece of land here, a piece of land there. And to get the work done, we need to come together because you can't just have the land and not have it being worked and producing and giving to the community. It's not just to have land. It's to be productive within the community and make sure your community is sustained, the women and children and the men, whoever wants to work can work. But in order to get the produce out, we need workers also,
Yes.
and we need buyers. Once you have the produce, so all of this needs to be come together as one.
And I think these are the type of works. Um, I want to be very frank with the family. We're headed toward World War III has started. There's going to be a constriction in global shipping. As the shipping lanes go down, which there's global inflation, the price of food, and most of our islands, most of our places import a lot of food. So the prices at the grocery store is going to get very high. I know we're all feeling it already. When you go to
Yes,
the grocery store, the cost is already, but it's going to get worse. I'm really trying to drill this into the family. We have to start preparing. The food security, food and water security is so essential in this time because we're looking at catastrophic collapses of infrastructure, government infrastructure, different things. And you have to be able to sustain yourself for a week, two strong, a month. We have to be prepared for these kind of interruptions in service. There's something named the mark of the beast that has been foretold that
yes,
you cannot buy or sell. If we are dependent on the grocery store, how long can you go without food? If you're not preparing from now. So we really need to, and I think we need our sister's organization. So, what we're doing in Jamaica is that we're creating a registry of farmers, you know,
mm,
literally just putting together. We have a land registry in ARC, a farmers registry. We put together a spreadsheet and we start to catalog, the different farmers, um, and then the next stage is, who's growing what, and now it's transitioning into the Harambe Hall where we have the farmers market in Jamaica every month. Um, so we're creating the distribution outlet, and creating it as a cultural event. And I think this is a template that we can use in the different islands and the different regions because we have to set our economic base around agriculture, you know, to prepare for what is to come. So this is something that I would recommend to the Empress Sharon to encourage the ones them to start to catalog, go in, find out the individuals who are farming, and then they can help. And then also even I know with Sharon, we're reasoning about, how we can invest in individual farmers to increase their produce and cash crops, and then using that funds to invest in different projects. So, everything is around agriculture right now.
yes, sir.
And I think that globally as a family, and I want to use this platform to spread that sound, that right now, especially in the tropics, in the item in the tropics, how can we, grow food and start to prepare fine markets because we're going to be coming with the ITAL standard shortly. So these are things that we can build our economics so we can build the institutions to fulfill the creed. How many acres is the Nyabingi house property in Trinidad? Or how big
I'm
is the property?
I'm really not sure. I'm not sure the
Okay.
acreage, but I know it's more than one or two. So
Okay. So
yeah,
it's a
so
nice piece of
it's a
land.
nice piece of land. Yes, yes,
Thanks, give thanks. So you see what I'm saying? The Nyabingi house need to have an agricultural program there
yes,
in
truly,
place.
because they're growing food on the land. So we just need to get it out into the community.
Yes, and create trademarks, branding, the Nyabingi farms. These are things that, I would be willing to strengthen as well. So we'll talk about that. Family, I want the item to know that Lion Voice, we're not just a talk shop, These are the workers, So when we connect, know that, yes, we're interviewing Empress Sharon, but these are also relationships that are being built in front of your eyes. And we're preparing for the greater work to come as we reason and as we share our story. I want to just take time and big up Freeway Dread, part of the Lion Pride on Patreon. He sent some lightning bolts into the chat. Energy, my Lion Pride on Patreon. We're strong. We're little, but we talawa. We have 11 of us. 11 of the family that is actually investing their hard-earned dollars to grow the platform. So I have to show them love when they show up. Willow's parents says one tribe tied up back to back in a bed to talk only. Okay, you have to give me some translation, Willow.
Some clarity on that.
Yes, give us some clarity. On that. Priest Mark Black says he agree. Big up yourself, royal priest. Each one teach one. Yes, that is the order from that time to this time. Keep blazing it, Mama Queen. Yes.
Beloved.
Yes, Empress Juma. Big up yourself. Here to support your sister.
Yes,
tell you, just get ready for your interview, Empress Juma, because we're coming to hear from the eyes same way. So, in terms of yes. So just for those who are coming to Trinidad, for the first time, where would you recommend that they visit? What are some of the spaces?
There are many. Right now, there's a mud volcano in Papyrus. I can't remember the name of the area, but there's a mud volcano that is currently erupting. So that would be a site to go to. They also have the Library Ta. Oh my goodness, I live right there in Library. I can't remember the name. It's slipping me at the moment. But there's also Port of Spain is the main hub of Trinidad, but you have different sites that you can go to. The Panyards, that there's always something going on. The 12 tribes of Israel, their gates are always open. Nyabingi House is always open. Bobo Shanti and Wharf Trace, the headquarters, those places are always allowable to visit. Even the Orthodox Church is always open. As the eye can see, I'm really centered around the houses. So that's what I know.
Yes. So you mentioned that His Majesty bought the land that the Orthodox Church was on.
Correct.
What is that history?
When he came in 1966,
yes,
for his visit on the 18th of April, he came to Trinidad first before he went to any of the other islands. Dr. Williams invited him to come forward, and he came here first. And the first place he went was to the Orthodox Church, because one of the priests from Trinidad went to Ethiopia and brought forward the news that the king would be coming, and that went forward to Eric Williams, and that's how His Majesty was invited to Trinidad, and he brought forward the Orthodox Church to Trinidad, and that is the first Orthodox Church in the Caribbean and Latin America. And even in the United States, it was here first. It was in Trinidad first that the Orthodox Church came.
Okay.
So the land was given to the Orthodox Church by His Majesty back in 1966 when he came forward.
Wow, I didn't know that history. So important. Do you know any more details about that visit to Trinidad, that historic visit that you could share?
I was 2 years old. Sorry, my lord. I did not do a lot of research on that I
Okay.
can recall.
No problem, no problem. That's fascinating to know because His Majesty did so many things with his personal money for the people, leaving these little gems all over the place. We have the Haile Selassie School. He left the money in Jamaica. Now we find out he built a church in Trinidad. There's so much little details about the tribe within the mystic. As a historian, I love those details. Okay, Willow's parents said it was when you suggested arranged marriage, sir. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me see. Oh, you said one tribe tied up back to back in a bed to talk only. Oh, you saying that's what people in one tribe do with their arranged marriage. Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yes.
But yes, I think we have to bring the institution. Let's just talk about, marriage in general. We don't have a Rastafari marriage ceremony. You can get married in the church, but I know that's something that we're talking about even within Tran with the Nyabingi House and the revised guidelines. Marriage is part of that, that discussion because I
And
definitely.
even burial. That's something new. Marriage and burial is something completely
Yes,
foreign to Rastafari.
completely foreign, and I think both of them are key.
Truly.
Because a lot of times elders pass and then all of the rights are left to their biological family, and then they have a going away that people talking about Jesus. There's no mention of their liberty, the life they live, and it's almost it's a dishonor
It
to
is.
to that great life that they have lived. Hold on a second here. We have another Lion Pride on Patreon member, the great Dr. Dina Marie Beresford, who also hailed from Trinidad, also known as Dr. Wolete. She said Dr. Williams went to Ethiopia and then invited Haile Selassie to Trinidad. Yes, to Trinidad. Okay, give thanks.
Give thanks for the
Mama Wolete.
clarification.
Yes. Do you know Mama Wolete?
Through ARC.
To art. Okay,
Yeah.
give thanks. Yes. Empress Sharon wants to say the La Brea Yes, the Trini family are tuning in.
It's the Pitch Lake is what it's called. Sorry. The Pitch
Yes,
Lake. La
yes.
Brea Pockets is in California.
Oh, in California. Oh, okay. Someone
The
up
Pitch
here,
Lake is
Safia said Pitch
yes,
Lake. Yes.
it slipped
Yes.
I remembrance.
Yeah, the Lion Pride is active, The Lion
Give
Pride is active.
thanks for the clarification.
Yes. Willow's parents said, thank you for your wisdom and story, Queen. We have our regulars, we're a family here. We're building a community every Thursday. I have to big up all of the family that comes in for the live. Mama Walete says, love I sister.
Yes, I do.
And Mama Walete and I work, yes, joyful, the true, the pitch lakes, yes. Mama Walete and I work very closely. She's the chair of IDOR.
Yes.
Universal Development of Rastafari. We have the study group.
Truly.
And we're working on a repatriation summit, and we're going to be doing some fact-finding missions to different African countries as part of that repatriation initiative. So we definitely will be reaching out to, now that we know about Empress Menen Rising, we definitely will reach out and make that connection, we're bringing the family together. So yeah, give thanks. And Dr. Welete is also from Trinidad. I think I said. Yeah, so we really give thanks. Okay, you see this? She said she's coming home in May.
I will be citing the IMA.
Aile, you see that?
We'll make that happen.
So this is happening in real time, family. That's why I show the item or the platform powerful. We little but we talawa. The family, the workers are connecting to do this mighty work, this epic part of the story. This unfolding of repatriation is happening in real time. She said, Claxton B.
Okay, I'm further south, so give thanks.
Okay,
In my area.
give thanks. So yeah, man, real time. So in terms of the I journey, the I to try to Africa. What is your sound personally from a personal perspective on repatriation?
Simple repatriation is a must. It
Okay.
is a must. And as I was reasoning with the eye earlier, as the Muslims do, and they have to make their journey to Mecca, every single Rastafari should have to make a trot to Africa before they transition. That is my irates on that particular subject. Everyone, you claim Haile Selassie as God and King, and you say that Africa is the motherland, you have to visit your mother. You have to know your mother.
Haile.
That is a must. You cannot speak on something that you don't know. So you have to go and at least visit. If you're not able to stay or not willing to stay, have a visit. So you can say, yes, I have been to my motherland and this is my report. This is what I feel about it. But from not knowing, from not seeing, you cannot make a judgment. So that is, I know I have to go forward at some point in time before I trot on. So yes,
Yeah, man. Definitely. We're gonna keep in touch. IDOR mission, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania.
yes, I.
So we're looking at these regions next year for next year. So maybe that might be an opportunity for the I to make the trod with a group of Rastafari ones, you know,
Yes, I.
and we can do some planning collectively. Well, your brand new sister, Dr. Walete, will be linking the eye
Yes, I.
and plans. And, you know, when the sister and them link up family, it's very mighty. So
Truly, truly, truly.
I know that great things are happening in the mystic. What are some of the countries that you would like to visit on the continent?
Um, First, foremost, Ethiopia, Ghana. I, even though it has a reputation, I would still love to cite Nigeria.
Yes.
Yes, and Tanzania. Yes.
I don't think you can be from Trinidad and you don't touch Nigeria.
Yes, I do.
That would be disrespectful. That would be, you know what I mean? Because everybody I know they say Trinidad is Yoruba land, you know?
Yes, sir. Really.
You know what I mean?
Really.
And that's where I first hear about Shango. You know, it's from the
Yes, sir.
Trini Brethren and Sistren, you know.
Yes,
How impactful is that to Trinidadian culture, the Orishas and that Yoruba culture?
it's very, there's a large community of Baptists and spiritual Baptists and the Yoruba and the different African, even African unity, which is a Rastafari, uh, identifies as a Rastafari uh, unity. They follow the African tradition. They follow Haile Selassie as king, but their feast days is done only in African languages. They do their prayers, everything within the African tradition. So it is Rastafari based, but it's also African traditionally based.
Okay.
It's a little bit different.
I definitely want to visit Trinidad so
Yes,
I can film some of that and interview the ones them because that's fascinating. To I how they you know blend Rastafari and the Yoruba
yes,
uh,
I
tradition. But it makes sense because he's the king of all kings,
truly
complete lion of the tribe of
had it.
Judah. You know what I mean? So
Yes, sir.
everyone is gonna hail him in different ways. Um, let's talk about the music. You know, I hear that Trinidad is a reggae land, even though it's a land of soca. and the Rastafari, we hear artists like Marlon Asher, the ganja farmer,
Yes, I.
and now Queen Amiga has been blazing up the whole earth. You know? Yeah, I know that, sister.
Very well. Queen Omega just had her first concert in Trinidad, and as Empress Menen Rising, and I knew Queen Omega from before. I hailed Queen Omega and asked her if Empress Menen Rising could be of any assistance. So Empress Menen Rising became the host of all the artists that were on the show. So Empress Menen Rising made that connection with Queen Omega. So now Queen Omega is now part of Empress Menen Rising.
Oh wow,
Yes,
mighty, mighty.
yes,
So
yes,
that I can assist on bringing her on this platform because we would love
okay. Yes,
to interview the sister, and I've been admiring her range, you know, the vocal range
okay.
and the lyrics and the delivery and everything. You know what I
Mighty,
mean?
mighty sister, mighty.
Very mighty, you know. So I'm glad I have a direct connection now
Yes,
uh,
sir.
to the sister. So how important is the reggae music to Rastafari community in Trinidad?
It for the for the conscious Rastafari, there are few ones and ones. I Sasha, King David, um, I can't think of John Melody, as you said, Queen Omega, Jalifa. There are a few mighty ones that
Okay.
are part of Trinidad conscious reggae. Now there's the Trinidad reggae, which is overshadowing all the good works that the mighty ones are doing. The Trinidad is the dancehall reggae with the cursing and the defamation of the women. It's really
I've never heard about that. They call it
Trinidad
Trinidad.
music.
They call it
Trinidad, call it Trinidad. Yes, 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 Bridget.
Trinidad. That's first me I hear that one day.
Yes, I. And
Wow.
it's yeah, but there's some mighty ones out there,
So
and
who's the biggest male Rastafari artist in Trinidad in terms of the most well known?
ones and ones have different opinions, but for I, it's I, Sasha.
I Sasha. Okay.
Yes, I. John
Yeah.
Melody, King David. There are
Do
few
I
good
know
ones.
those brethren? Do I know them?
Oh, yes,
Let them
I
know that the Lion Voice is their platform. I want to interview all of them too. You know?
yes, I definitely. I'll
Yeah,
make that connection.
yeah, man. We want to interview them, give them highlights so that the rest of the family also
Yes,
know that they're out there because these are the things that we want to connect the family. The conscious artists are not getting the highlight. You know, as you said, they're being over shadowed. Um, Mama Olete said Prophet Benjamin.
Prophet Benjamin. Yes, I definitely.
Okay, Dr. Walete know the artist them too. She said
Yes,
no.
yes,
Yes, yes. So
yep.
yes.
That's one of the reasons, brethren, that I try to do as much work outside of just the Nyabingi house or just outside of Empress Men and then make sure and at least visit houses from time to time whenever I can. I don't have a vehicle, so I'm traveling all the time. So when I can, I go to each and every house and make sure that ones and ones know that works are going on. And you don't have to stay in your particular house to network and come out because Rastafari is universal. It's not just in your house. The works have to be done for all of I and I, not just for one particular group.
Blessed are the bridge builders.
Yeah,
You know,
Celestia.
yeah, they is doing a mighty, mighty work.
Yes,
And you know, I am now here to serve the eye along with, you know, we have Idor, we have Ark, you know, just let us know
yes,
um, how we can connect. You know, I know RMO as well will want to connect with the All Mansion. So let us bring these things together.
yes,
The more we come together, the more mighty that we will be. Uh,
truly,
you
truly.
know what I mean? Are reggae events well attended with the local artists? Are they getting
Those
support locally?
Local is kind of, if an international Jamaican artist comes forward, mighty, mighty, mighty. But for local artists, it's just the ones and ones who know the local artists. So
Okay.
it's well attended, but not as well attended.
Yes, yes. Do the Nyabingi House or the All Mansion, do they do events where the artists are able to highlight themselves?
The Nyabingi House, we the Nyabingi House is more internal. It's
Yes.
not for putting on shows and things. It's
Yes,
irritable. It's
yes, yes, yes. Oversight.
outside.
Oversight.
Um, the All Mansions has not done a anything on that level yet. Not that I'm aware of. Not that I'm aware of. And I'm
Because
not sure what the plans are for the future since I'm no longer a
yeah,
part of the executive.
okay. I consider the reggae singer is part of the reggae mansion. I consider that a mansion by itself. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
and I think we have to look at it that way because they have their own peculiarities. And I'm
True.
an artist. I say that as an artist. But I'm also a Naya Bingi man. So, but I think the reggae mansion has a part to play in terms of the economic development
True.
um, of the family. The cultural entertainment is crucial in terms of what I mean, bringing all of the elements together to create this ecosystem, this Rastafari nation that has to be built. So I really just give thanks for the transparency. Um, okay. She said, Dr. Walletti said, I have to try and do the eye show with those ones. All right. So blessings, give thanks. Mama Walletti is one of our Lion Pride on Patreon. She supports not just with word sound, but she actually has invested in strengthening the platform. So make sure you buy her book,
Yes, sir.
Goragi, 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 which
Yes.
is the story of Yashimabet Ali. And I cited it in my book as well. So her scholarship on Yashimabet has been invaluable. She went to Harare, she went to Wallo, and really did some firsthand
In
research.
that. Yes, sir.
And we need more of that. So big up Mama Walete in terms of her contribution, her ongoing contribution. And she just released a book on the matriarchal shift.
Yes, sir.
So she's really championing the rise of the Rastafari women. And we see the theme, family. Rastafari women are no longer in the background. They are raising their voices. I'm highlighting them all month here, but really all year. We have the most Rastafari woman content on the internet right now, the Lion
Yes, sir.
Voice Network. And we're going to continue to be a platform for our sisters to share. So, what would you share with your younger self if you had the opportunity to reason with a young Empress Sharon in your early 20s? What message would you have to the I self with the wisdom that you have now?
There's a lot of things that I would have let fall away and not held on to for as long as I did.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Because it was not necessary, but it was a lesson that had to be learned in
Okay.
order to get to this point. So if I could have let go earlier, I think I would have forwarded in a lot of things sooner. But
Okay.
being hardened and stiff necked as we
Yes.
are, I
Yes.
held
Yes.
on
Talk
to
about it. Very
yes,
important. Because a lot
yes,
of people see us as Rastafari, and we're human beings too. We're stiff
yes,
necked. We're ears hard. We don't listen. We buck with toe. So
yes, yes.
very important to share that with people because we don't want people to feel like this is not accessible. And that we're holier than thou.
Far from every day a mistake is made. It's just that to know that You can learn from that mistake. Try not to do it again.
Give
Humble
thanks.
thyself, humble thyself, and know, yes, I made a mistake, and admit to your mistake. Don't say, puff up yourself and say, no, 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 I'm not wrong. Yes, I am very wrong. I am very wrong, but I've learned from it, and I will move on. I will apologize and humbly move on.
Give thanks. Give thanks. And what is your message to young Rastafari sistren who embracing the trad, maybe looking for resources? I have some of them on this platform that comment from time to time. What should they be? How should they be meditating? How should they be? What sounds would you have for them?
First and foremost, pray. Seek ye first the kingdom and all these and righteousness, and these things will be added unto you. So seek, do your research. Don't just listen to ones and ones that are having a reasoning from their perspective. Read, research, listen to the Most High. Listen to that inner voice that's telling you right from wrong, because the right will always shine through. Seek righteousness. Stay humble. Stay humble. Try to latch on to a sister or someone, even a brethren, because it was Bongo Jack and Bongo Grease. I didn't have any sisters. So I had to listen to the elders that I knew. And within their word song, I had to find my own word song, because their perspective was not my perspective. But the Most High gave I clarification to know that, yes, this is the right way to go. So have to look within thyself and humble thyself and trod out forward and trod brave. Be militant, trod brave. This is not a liberty for the weak at all. So once you stand up in righteousness, stand for what you believe in. Don't listen to the left, don't listen to the right. Straight ahead, for whatever. That
Give
is our word song.
Give thanks. And does the eye how does the eye see the Bible in this time? A lot of ones no longer read the Bible or have different views. How does the eye sight the Bible in terms of the relevance for this time and this part of the trad?
For I am a psalmist. Every day between, I'd say, 5 and 10 psalms a day. For I. The Bible, I'm mainly Old Testament, New Testament, showed up a little bit, but not too much. But I definitely cite the Bible as, how's the saying go? Oh, I forgot what the definition of the Bible is.
Mhm. Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So it's instructions. It's instructions. It's a guide. It's a guide for how ones and one should live and take the good from the bad, because there are nuggets of wisdom in everything. The birds in the trees, the fish, the insects, everything has wisdom. But you have to be able to discern. And that's when my youths will tell you, I've been telling them since they were small, there are 5 things: knowledge, wisdom, understanding, discernment, and application. That's what I pray for on a daily basis. Because if you don't have knowledge, wisdom, understanding, you won't have the discernment. And if you cannot apply all these things, what is it for? What
Mighty.
is it for? So
Mighty.
that's how I live my liberty, by
No,
those 5 principles.
that's mighty. And you talked about some of the books that you read coming into the trad. I want you to recommend 3 books. I am the reading Ras people, so books have to be in the thing. Recommend 3 books, that you would recommend to the family that is just trying to reach their higher self, trying to manifest that that Christ consciousness within themselves, trying to just ascend to higher levels. They may feel like they're stagnated along the journey. What books would you recommend that one sit?
My memory is not that good with names
No
and dates
problem.
and those things. That's not my strong point. But as I said before, the book that got I into this liberty, Rasta and Rebellion,
Yes.
Negas, and as the 12 tribe, a chapter a day from the Bible, a
Give
chapter a
thanks.
day.
Give thanks. That's mighty. That's mighty. And now, in terms of your current economic, are there any businesses or anything that you want to promote or that you're currently engaged in? How can people support the I works and the I movements?
This, well, as I stated earlier, Empress Men and Rising is having their third annual Empress Menen Earth Strong Isis on the 31st of March at the Nyabingi grounds in Siparia. I'd like to give much ices to Bongo Wamba, Bongo Jamesy, uh, Bongo Grease, Bongo Jack, Bongo Bingy, all the brethren up in the yard, Congo Mark, all those brethren that are up in the yard right now doing works to prepare for their ITAL Day. The Bingy House is having an ITAL Day to raise some funds to continue the works on the tabernacle. And on the next day, which is the 31st, we'll be having Empress Menen's Isis on for Empress Menen's Earth Strong, which is the 3rd of April. But we're
Yes.
having it on Babylonian Easter Sunday. So the
Okay.
youth will be able to become involved. The theme for this year is the youths are our present, which is not just the youths are now, but they're also a gift. So what do you do with a gift? You take care of it, you nurture it, you make sure that everything is well with your gift to pass on to someone else if possible. There's also the ITAL Festival that is coming up this Sunday in St. Anne's. Um, there's the Bobo Shanti um, Women's Freedom, oh, the Women's Freedom Liberation League. I always forget the name. They're having their celebration this Sunday for their league started, I believe, it was 40 years ago. I'm not sure the dates. I'm not good with dates at all. But they're having their celebration this Sunday also. What else? There's a few other things that are going on that I call at the moment. I don't have them written down. But
No,
that is what I
give
am involved
thanks.
in 100% right now is preparing for this day and making sure everything goes smoothly because all of the houses that I mentioned before have been invited to come forward to the Nyabingi house for this celebration. So
Okay.
there's a lot of work and coordination and getting ones and ones together.
Give thanks. And is there a website? Are there any for Empress Men and Rising? Is there any way if ones want to contribute financially? Is there any way that ones can tap in with the eye or with the movements there?
Well, if ones want to contribute monetarily, I can contact I directly, 868-395-9812. For any other correspondence, you can contact Empress Men and Rising at gmail.com. We're on Facebook and we're also on Instagram.
Okay, so that's
But you
Empress Men
can
and
contact me directly, Empress Sharon Francois.
please do not contact Empress Sharon with any foolishness. Empress
Please
Sharon will let her know and we will burn a fire. Don't do it.
give
Uh,
them.
just only serious contributions only. Empress Sharon, it's been an honor to have the eye on the platform. We've gone 2 hours already. So quickly. Empress Sharon said, "Why I don't do interview?" And see, I told you it's just gonna be a conversation, a true conversation, not a conversation, a true
Yes,
conversation.
yes, sir.
And yeah, we've gone over almost 2 hours
Wow.
already. And that's how it is when family come together. This is the first. This is part one. So we're gonna have the eye forward as Empress Men and Rising continues to evolve. This is the eye platform, my sister.
Give
Uh,
much time.
anything you want to promote, anytime the item need an outlet to get to the family, please. And Empress Sharon has also agreed to help us to spread the word with the family in Trinidad.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so please at the gathering, let the ones know they need to follow the platform so they can get in touch with all of the Rastafari family. We're gonna start doing some interviews with our Rastafari family in Africa. I interviewed Sister Mimi from South Africa, Naya Bingels. So that interview is going to be going up on the channel shortly. We have
Give
Sister Aisha from St. Croix, who is in the Ministry of Agriculture, the Assistant Minister of Agriculture for the Virgin Islands, sorry, not just St. Croix, for the whole Virgin Islands. The Assistant Minister of Agriculture is a Rastafari sisterin. I interviewed her. That interview should be up by Monday. We have so much content coming down the pipeline. So, my sister, give thanks for your strength. If you have not subscribed to the platform, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button. We're building slowly but surely. Empress Sharon, you have blessed us, and it's been
thanks.
such a great honor. I just want to give the eye flowers, the eye accolades to the eye face right
Give
now,
thanks.
and just say we really give thanks for ones like the eye who have been steadfast on the battlefield, not looking any limelight, but working quietly just to ensure that the work goes
Give
through.
thanks. That's right.
You are precious gem in the
Give
crown
thanks.
of Kadamawi, Haile Selassie the First. I want I to hear that from your younger brother,
Give
uh,
thanks.
directly. Uh, any final word sound to the global Rastafari family? What is the sound to the global family from the eye?
First and foremost, I'd say like to say that I'm truly honored that the I would even consider interviewing a humble one as the I that likes to stay in the background and not come forward, and to know that the time has gone by so quickly and I felt so at home. I give much thanks. I give much thanks. And to the global family, let us come together in love and harmony and unity, because the Most High has set it so that we come together as one. So let us do the works that the Most High has put for us to do, and do it well. So I and I will be pleased, and the Most High will be pleased. Empress Men and I will just smile, knowing that she is by the King, and the service has been done by both King and Queen. Selassie, King Rastafari. Give thanks.
Rastafari. So you heard it. The lioness has told her story. We've heard of her journey from Trinidad to Boston, forward to Trinidad, working in the vineyard of Rastafari. One more stone in that house, that mansion that the Most High has built among I and I has been laid. We are moving home. We are coming together. We are rising. Why? Because the time has come for the lions and the lionesses to tell our own story. And this is the lion voice.
Selassie.
Rastafari.
Rastafari.
Perfect love.
I'm Nana Farika. The time has come for the lioness to tell her story from her viewpoint and tell the world who Queen Omega is. This is the lion's voice.
The time has come for the lioness to tell her own story.
Well, lion voice, tell them that's the people first choice. Lion voice, make the lioness them feel nice. Lion voice, with the lion cubs we sacrifice. Lion voice, got to show the people them the light. Lion voice.